Okay, when students are solving comparison word problems, they oftentimes look at the word, for example, more, and they think automatically addition. And so what we really want kids to start thinking about is that when you compare, you're comparing two different quantities. So in today's lesson, students are going to be looking at the first problem, which is a toad ate some dragonflies, a snake ate more dragonflies than the toad. The question that you will ask during instruction, or what are you picturing in your mind when you read this sentence? Get kids talking about it, getting them to turn and talk with their partners and talking about what they're imagining or what they're picturing. And then the next question you can ask is, how many dragonflies are you picturing each animal ate? Just to make sure that they understand that the toad ate some, but the snake actually ate more than the toad. And then the next slide will pop up, and we have now more information. The question that you're going to pose to students is, what changed? And what did we learn from this new information? So a toad ate 4 dragonflies. Immediately, students should realize that if the toad, and I always encourage them to write down what they're talking about, if a toad ate 4 dragonflies, let's represent that. Looking back at the problem, a snake ate more dragonflies than the toad. So if the toad ate 4 dragonflies, how many dragonflies could the snake have eaten? Have students turn and talk, make sure that they're on the right path. Ultimately, the conversation should include that it has to be more than 4 because it says that they ate more than toad. A toad ate 4 dragonflies, still the same information. A snake ate 3 more dragonflies than the toad. So now, we're going to go down, we're going to label the next. Now we know that the snake ate 3 more than the toad. So we're going to represent 3 more than the toad. So here's the toad. And then 3 more than that. So obviously the misconception that can occur here is that students just think that the snake ate 3, but really to make sure that they can see that it's 3 more than the toad. So here's what they share in common, but then the snake ate 3 more. The next slide will then say, how many dragonflies did the snake eat? And then the students can then say, he ate 7 dragonflies. Let's try the next one. James has some fish in his aquarium. Sarah has more fish in her aquarium than James. So the first thing that we're doing is asking students, what are you picturing in your mind? Turn and talk with a partner. How many fish are you picturing in each student's aquarium or each child's aquarium? And then the last question could be, could each aquarium have the same number of fish, and how do you know? Having them turn and talk and listening to what they share with you is really important. So now it comes down to, let's solve this problem. So now we know James has 8 fish in his aquarium. So students can go down, they can represent James, and now we're going to represent James with 8 fish. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Sarah has more fish in her aquarium than James. So the question is, we know that we have Sarah, and we know that she has to have more than James. Questions that you can pose to students is, what has changed now with this new information? And if there are 8 fish in James' aquarium, how many could be in Sarah's, and how do you know? Turn and talk to a partner, improve your reasoning. Next bit of information is that Sarah has 5 more fish. So here's James. And if we know that Sarah has 5 more than James, we know that they share the 8. And then they're going to represent 5 more. This one's off my page. A great tool to use is snap cubes during this lesson, or they can do just like what I'm doing is tiles, so that way they can then see how quantities line up with each other. And so here they're going to notice that Sarah and James both have the same amount here, 8 fish, but we also know Sarah has 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The question now is, how many fish does Sarah have in her aquarium? With this model, students are then able to prove that Sarah indeed has 13, and the reason why is that 5 more than 8 is 13.